Our sincere gratitude and thanks to the Government of India for the donation of a new fleet of 100 electric buses, for which 10 have already arrived in Mauritius. These 10 buses will be on the road as from this afternoon, serving the people of Mauritius. In fact, we have scheduled for 2 p.m. The rest of the 90 buses will be on the road once they arrive in Mauritius, and also once the construction of the charging stations is completed. This donation is being made to the National Transport Corporation, the NTC, an important public entity with a network of operation that spans across Mauritius, and its services are used by a large proportion of Mauritians on some of the most remote routes, which other operators sometimes decline to serve because they are not profitable. So this is public service at its pinnacle. Where others do not want to go, the NTC goes to serve the people of Mauritius. The 100 electric buses from our friends from India, I must emphasize, come at a critical moment, for the NTC is in dire need of replacing a major part of its fleet of 500 buses, which by neglect, because of inadequate planning from the previous government, has come close to the very limit of its authorized operating age, which is 21 years of age. Not only this, but the previous government has allowed much of the fleet to drop into an appalling state of disrepair, a situation which was the subject of several questions addressed to me in and out of Parliament. Not just beyond their margin of safe use, but botched up with fake spare parts, which were obtained not for the sake of thrift, but were bought as fakes for the price of new, sometimes even higher than the price of new. Another revelation of underhand practices by our predecessors. This systematic use of bad quality spare parts at undue cost has brought the NTC in a sorry state, badly affecting the aging fleet's reliability. Even the tires that were bought under the previous regime were of poor quality, lasting for only a month on the road at 4,000 kilometers at the odometer. This disgraceful state of affairs, I am told, is being investigated by the Financial Crimes Commission, and is yet another example of the former disreputable regime's double dealing, which are now one by one being revealed. So when I took office at the ministry, when I took over the ministry, we found these gross financial and technical abuses in the in-trade. I decided that the first step was to appoint, with the approval of government, competent and honest people at the head of the NTC, who would put public service, sound financial management, and public safety at the top of the agenda. I am therefore very pleased to commend to you our chairman, Mr. Nishad Beg, who is an expert in finance and from the private sector, he spoke earlier, and our general manager, Dr. Arvind Sunahan, who is a mechanical engineer, who has served this country well in his career as director at the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities, and is the holder of a PhD in renewable energy, which is required at the moment at the NTC with the arrival of the electric buses. So he has the right profile. Their competences, the chairman and the general manager, are complementary and are vital to address the financial and technical challenges of the NTC. You should know that under the previous government and management, NTC's audited accounts were not presented for 9 consecutive years. I think this is the first time in the history of Mauritius. 9 consecutive years, no audited accounts, which is supposed to be done by the National Audit Office, by the way. What those accounts were hiding from public scrutiny are now being uncovered by our team. As we move into a new ecological phase of bus services in Mauritius, we've discussed with Dr. Sunahan on how to make the electric buses not only less polluting on the road, because the buses, they do not have a tailpipe, they don't emit on the road, but also greener at the national level. You see, the CEB burns a lot of coal to produce electricity, much more than during the Maurice Hilles-du-Rap years, when the proportion of renewable energy entering the grid was 23.4%. And today, we have inherited a fall to around 18%. So our grid has dropped in terms of greeniness over the last 10 years. To recall, Maurice Hilles-du-Rap was the vision for sustainable development of the Republic of Mauritius of Honorable Navin Chandra Ramgoolam when he was Prime Minister up to 2014, for which I had the great honor to spearhead from his office, the Prime Minister office. Coming back to renewable energy, we are currently discussing with the UNDP for assistance. And there, I think there's a positive development. Mr. Cyril Marga, who is here from the UNDP, told me this morning. Fresh news. Our aim is to have the support under the Global Environment Facility to install solar photovoltaic panels on the roof of the NTC depot, island-wide. There are 5 of them, as an input to the growing trend of local clean electricity generation in the public and the private sector. We are looking forward to have some further support from the Republic of India, Excellency. For India, which is the world's 3rd largest renewable energy producer, with around 46%, this is November 2024 figures, could be more today, coming from renewable sources. And India is also emerging as a global leader in the manufacturing of solar photovoltaic modules. So we will be knocking at your door again, Excellency. So High Commissioner, I know High Commission is assisting the Ministry of Public Utilities, but do keep your friends at the NTC in mind as well. It will go a long way in our mutual quest for sustainable mode of land transport in Mauritius, just like the Metro Express project is, which was initiated by Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam before the general elections of 2024. Much of the work was already done before the election of 2024. On a related note, let me reassure the Honorable Prime Minister that the electric buses will be charged outside the evening peak hours of 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock because of the dire problem of high peak electricity demand load the country is currently facing. Ladies and gentlemen, these electric buses come at a crucial time when we are embarking on the rethinking and modernization of our bus industry in line with our government program 2025-2029. We are working on the introduction of the fleet management system with GPS tracking for control and monitoring of our bus services. This will advance the integrated passenger information network, which seeks to enhance predictability in bus arrival time. All buses will be equipped with CCTV cameras and eventually with cashless ticketing system. A code of conduct will also introduce the licensing requirements for bus crews, conductors and drivers, for bus stand regulators, as well as a code of conduct for minimizing antisocial behavior on board of buses. All of the above will form part of the bus services industry bill that is currently being worked out at the level of the Ministry of Land Transport. I have announced in Parliament in last week private notice question that we have plans for fixing dash cams on the dashboard for buses to promote safe driving and greater passenger and road safety, which is a priority of the Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Prime Minister, with all these initiatives, we are laying the foundation that will allow us to implement an important undertaking of our government program 2025-2029, which reads as follows. A complete rethinking of the bus industry will be undertaken and comprehensive measures will be implemented to make free public transport possible for all. We are working very hard. All ministers, government is working very hard for the country to progress from the economical situation that we inherited in 2024. And I do hope that we can implement, as economy progresses, free transport for all in the Republic of Mauritius. And we are laying the foundation for this anyway. And this foundation that we are laying will improve service to traveling passengers immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, electric buses, electric vehicles, buses and infrastructure require specific skills for related technology, be it in terms of operation, maintenance and repairs. We have with us today our higher education and technical education institutions. I would ask them to note the opportunity for new appropriate technical courses to address our future labour market needs in this new age of electrical engineering transport development. इसीलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी कृपया धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को समर्पित कीजिए जब आप उनसे भारत में मिलेंगे. Which means, Honourable Prime Minister, please convey our thanks to the Honourable Prime Minister Modi when you will meet him in India. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for your thought-provoking address. आपने हिंदी में बोलने की कोशिश की, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आपकी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है और मुझे लगता है आपकी बात दिल तक, His Excellency तक पहुंच गई है. बहुत धन्यवाद. So, ladies and gentlemen, to mark this special occasion, we are deeply honored to have with us a visionary leader committed to progress, sustainability, and strong international partnerships, especially the deep and enduring bond with India. May I now respectfully invite the Honorable Prime Minister, Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, for his keynote address. And let us welcome our Prime Minister with a big round of applause.
Colleague ministers, junior minister, members of parliament, Minister Osman Mohammed, I didn't know you could speak Hindi so well. His Excellency the High Commissioner of India, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests. I'm really pleased to be associated with today's event, which relates to the donation of the first batch of 10 electric buses out of a total of 100 by the Government of India to the National Transport Corporation. We are eternally grateful to India, which time and again has proven to be a steadfast partner in the progress of Mauritius. These electric buses, provided under India's Development Assistance Program, reflect our common vision for a sustainable future. Dr. Anjali Chitamani, in her speech, she quoted Prime Minister Modi, who said, "This is a shining example of innovation." This is indeed what it is. You heard Minister Osman Mohammed speak about the mess we inherited and what we are doing to convert this country. We have a choice. We can decide to be a fifth world country, or we can decide to be a first world country. This is what we're doing. And I'm hoping people will realize what we have inherited is going to take time to put right. And also we have to push forward with our vision to make Mauritius a first world country. Today's donation is a testimony to the special relationship between India and Mauritius, which has stood the test of time. Today, they are robust, as you can see, and flourishing. Our unique bonds are not only reflected in the many existing agreements, technical assistance, shared values, but they were further strengthened, as mentioned earlier, by both the High Commissioner and the Minister for Land Transport during the state visit of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who graced our National Day celebrations by his presence here in last March. May I also seize this opportunity to thank you, High Commissioner, for the contribution towards enhanced special links between our two countries, be they cultural, social, or economic. Today's event is yet another milestone in India's unflinching support to our development. Throughout the years, New Delhi has contributed significantly to the successful completion of several high-profile infrastructure projects in Mauritius, including this building, including Cyber City, which I signed the agreement with Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the new Supreme Court, the Metro Express, which I signed with the Foreign Minister of India at the time, hospitals, housing units, among others. You know, we mentioned Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was very close to Sir Shiv Sagar Ramgoolam, and later on I got to know him. I must say with regret, I regret that I did not manage to go to attend his funeral, one of the greatest sons of India. I did not because I wasn't allowed to travel. That's the reason. But wherever he is, he's listening to us. The government program, ladies and gentlemen, 2025-2029, entitled A Bridge to the Future, sets the agenda for the total reconstruction of our country, underpinned by the national goals of economic efficiency and social justice and solidarity. For us to achieve our ambitions and our visionary objectives, we shall have to rely on our traditional development partners, especially India. There are several crucial areas of cooperation where India can play a meaningful role. I have in mind, I've mentioned this to Prime Minister Modi, artificial intelligence, the ocean economy, circular economy, the green and renewable energy, food security and maritime security is going to be very important with our having got back the sovereignty of Jebu Garcia, the Deshagas Archipelago. The Mauritius-India Joint Vision Document for an enhanced strategic partnership signed last March marked a significant breakthrough in our shared commitment to deepen cooperation and across both established and emerging sectors. Government has made inclusivity, sustainability, part of our key components of our development strategy. The introduction of these electric buses is a critical step in reducing our carbon footprint, cutting fuel imports, and improving air quality. Minister Osman Mohamed mentioned it. When he was executive chairperson of Maurice Jurab, he was a civil servant at the time. I put him in charge of that with Professor Joel Degone. We managed to move green energy to 23.4%, if I'm not mistaken. What happened after we lost the election? Professor Degone was asked to go back to France. Osman Mohamed was removed from the position. Maurice Jurab was scratched. What result? Today we are 17.9%, I believe, in renewable energy. This initiative of Maurice Jurab, this initiative today is fully aligned with that vision of Maurice Jurab, which I launched, I was saying, during the previous mandate. By transitioning to clean public transport, we are not only protecting our environment, but also ensuring a more sustainable future for generations to come by reducing smoke emissions. I am sure many of you don't know. You know, when a bus, or any vehicle, but a bus especially, or a lorry, is emitting black smoke on the street, there's a person standing on the road. He's inhaling that. But did you know that the person who is in the car behind, if he doesn't have this, there's a gadget that prevents smoke from coming in, but if he doesn't have this, most cars don't have it. is inhaling that smoke without realizing it, and is more in danger of catching cancer than the guy who's standing at the bus stop. Many people don't know this. So we have to reduce this emission. This is what we're doing. Electric bus donation adoption in public transport is growing all over the world. According to Bloomberg, electric buses are expected to represent 85% of the global fleet by 2050. The donation of electric buses to the National Transport Corporation therefore marks a paradigm shift in the use of the latest technology in the bus industry, shifting from conventional diesel to the use of electricity. It is a leap forward in public transport and public transport efficiency. It will revolutionize the commuting experience for thousands of Mauritians with lower operating costs, reduced noise pollution, and enhanced passenger comfort. Many people don't realize, in some countries they're building roads that make less noise with the tires of cars. Noise pollution is an important issue that we have to address. As if here in Mauritius, anybody can do anything. This has to stop. We said when we were campaigning that we will mettre l'autre côté dans les autres. C'est un nouveau. With a view to improving passenger satisfaction, the deployment of these electric buses will begin with the buses which are assigned at the moment to operate along the NTC routes, you I think explained it, with higher commuter demand, and where complaints have been received from the public. It will be mainly, I believe, from Port-Louis to the center through the west. As part of its first international electric mobility project, India, through Switch Mobility Automobile Limited, is allowing Mauritius to be the very first country in our region to operate electric buses on a massive scale. That is, as I said, starting with 10, it will end up hopefully by 200 by the end of this year. I understand that the remaining 90 electric buses will be received, as I said, towards the end of this year, in 3 batches of 30. And I have to underscore something else that many people perhaps don't realize. One electric bus costs around 10 million rupees. And India is giving us 100. So how would we have been able to do it in the mess we are now without the help of our great country who has always been there, India? And the shift to electric mobility is not just an environmental imperative, it is also an economic opportunity. It will create jobs in new fields, such as maintenance of these buses and servicing of charging infrastructure. And I'm happy to note that Indian technicians are here to help us. They will be here for a while. Switch Mobility Automobile Limited is working in close collaboration with the Mauritian side to allow what is very important, the transfer of technology. And today's launch is only the beginning. We envision deeper partnership with India in renewable energy, electric vehicle infrastructure, and smart city technologies. Before ending, I would like to place on record all the efforts of all the relevant stakeholders. Let's start with the Indian High Commissioner, the Ministry of Land Transport, the National Land Transport Authority, the Central Electricity Board, and the dedicated teams who work tirelessly to implement this project and support government's transport energy strategy goal. With these words, I'll be pleased to take delivery of the first batch of the 10 electric buses on behalf of the people and the government of Mauritius. Thank you.